Hello, how you guys all doing? I hope you're doing nicely. Well, today we're going to have a look at reproduction. So let's start highlighting so that you can see just normal reproduction, right? Now, if I can get this thing to work nicely, which is happening today, right? In this section, before we even start, what I want you to do is I've got a list that you've got to make sure that you know, right? So let's have a look. Firstly, you must be able to, right, look at the different reproductive strategies, right? Different reproductive strategies of vertebrates. Now, this is very important for the exam. These are the quick points that you need, right? So, different reproductive strategies, for example, internal fertilization, external fertilization, that type of thing, right? Excuse me. Then, we're also going to have a look at, they want to know if you know the structure and function of the male and female reproductive organs. Okay, so there are reproductive organs of humans. We're not looking at any of the other parts. We're just looking at humans. Okay, this is where we go into depth of all of it. Okay, and don't forget, you need to know all the different things like your hormones that are involved in this whole section. Right. Now, lastly, can you describe the processes involved in human reproduction? Okay, you need to know the whole process. Now, understand, it's not just the physical part, it's inside. Okay, so we're having a look at the estrogen, the progesterone, those are hormones. We're having a look at the epididymis of the male, right? We're having a look at the testes, the ovaries, that type of thing. You need to know how they work. That's the important part of the reproductive structure, right? So once you've got that done, we can go through questions and understand the questions better. So we're going to go through questions. Let's have a look what we've got. Firstly, if you can go, there we go. What I've got is, I've got a picture of a male and a female reproductive system, should I say. Make sure you can see the front and the side view. You've got to know both. They can ask you questions on both, so know both. Okay, the first question we're having a look at is write the letter A to H. So remember, they ask for the letter, so give the letter. Don't just put the name, right? The letter and the name of the part that does the following. Okay, so they want both. Firstly, let's have a look. Which transports urine, right, to the outside of the body. Remember, female has got two different parts. It's got the reproductive system and it's got the excretory system, right? They're two different. When it comes to the male, at one stage they join together, right? So just remember that. So we're not going to see it in the female, so the female's gone, right? If we have a look at the male, there it is. It's going to be B, okay, because it's the urethra, okay? It's the part that joins the bladder to the outside. And it's the same part that sperm and semen and all of that travel down at the same time, right? So let's have a look. It is, let's get some pointers here, urethra. Nice and easy and simple. And this must become easy for you, right? You got to know this stuff. Next one, where fertilization occurs. Now, it's not going to happen in a male. Let's get that right, okay? Because if it happens in a male, we're in trouble. If we have a look at the female system, fertilization has to happen in a specific part. The sperm and the egg have got to join at a specific part so that it's big enough to get set or go into the endometrium walls, right? If it goes before a certain time, then it's going to embed in the fallopian tubes. Okay, so there's a specific place, and that is over here where E is, just as it's going around the bend of the fallopian tube. That is where fertilization is going to happen. Okay, so it is in letter E, which is going to be called the fallopian tube. Okay, let's have a look at it. Fallopian tube or oviduct, one of the two. Each one is exactly the same. They're like fallopian tube though. Right, if we have a look at the next one, where is sperm produced? Now, come on, very simple. Sperm is in the testes, right? Has to be in the testes. That's where it gets made. Okay, right at the bottom, just before the epididymis and all of those things, where sperm is made. And that's that region over there. But of course, it is labeled as C, so it's C in its testes. Okay, so it's your testes. Where is it? Testis is 1, testes is 2. Okay, got to know the different phrases. Remember when we say everything in life science, 50%, or should I say 30% or 35% of the paper is all about knowing your facts, all about definition. So you have to know where all these things are. Right. Now, next one. Where ova are produced. Now, ova is another word for egg. Okay, so it's an egg. Where is the female's ova, or where is the female's egg produced? They want to know where it produces. Now, men have got those little things they're called testes, and women have got almost the same thing. It's not the same thing. Let's get that right. But they've also got it. Okay, and they're called. Yeah, they are. Number F. They are called ovaries. Right? You need to know that. And inside there, it's very complicated because the whole thing gets made, like Graafian follicles and corpus luteums and all of those things. But we'll get to that just now. Okay? So if we have a look at it, where is it produced? Of course, it's in the ovaries. That is simple, easy. These are easy questions, right? It gets more difficult, trust me. It really does. But I promise you, if you know the stuff off by heart, it's a simple, simple section. Okay? Now, let's go to the next question. Question 2. Now what they've done is they've gone into a little bit more detail of the female reproductive system. Okay, they've gone nice and close, and they're going to ask you questions on it. They like doing this. Okay, first one, letter again and name. Now just remember, if you only write the letter, if you look, just as I'm going down here, look how many marks it's for. It's for 2 marks. Okay, so letter and name. You've got to make sure that you give both. Main reason is you might know it off by heart where things are made or where they get produced or whatever, but you do not know how to identify them on a picture or a diagram, and that's why they ask for name and number so that you can identify both. Right, so just remember that. So name and number. It says here, the part that breaks down when the level of progesterone and estrogen drop. Oh, that's a bit of a problem for me, hey? I didn't know that they drop. Of course they do. They increase and they drop, all compared to different parts of that time of the month for the lady. Okay, it's called the menstrual cycle. Okay, what happens is certain things happen at certain times, and that's how the woman's estrogen and progesterone levels all mess around, and some go bigger and some go smaller and go more and less and so on, and it's an adjustment in the body, right? And that's why we get different moods at different times. Okay, and I promise you now, men, it's simple. You do not know this, but I promise you do. You can actually pick it up. You sense it. So you pick up smells, for instance. It attracts you to that person. It's very, very cool. It's amazing. But that you don't need to know. This is just for fun and games. Right. That is just for extra information. Now, let's see. Where is, what does it say? What part actually breaks down? Now, can you remember that you get this thing called the endometrium wall? And if I can draw it in, it's here. Right, it's right on the side of this. There it is. Now what that does, that yellow part, that embeds, the embryo embeds in there and it stays there and then it becomes the baby. Right, so that part, if it is not fertilized, okay, if the egg isn't fertilized, we need to get rid of it. Okay, it can't stay there, it's gonna die, there's nothing to help it. So what does it do? We flush it out, we break down that yellow barrier, okay, we break it down and it comes out, and that's when a woman menstruates. Okay, so if we have a look, it's C, okay, and it's called the endometrium. Always remember, it's nice, and these words are big, and know how to spell it, okay? It's very important to know how to spell these. They don't like it if you don't give the right spelling, okay? Next one. The part, here we go, the part that plays a role during copulation. The part that plays a role during copulation. In other words, if we make it nice, making love. So where does the penis get put in? Okay, it's simple. Where does the penis enter the female? It is the vagina. Okay, and it is shown on the diagram. There it is. The vagina is there. Okay, that's where the penis goes in. Okay, now I'm just going to erase something for 2 seconds so you can understand it. I'll write it again. Okay, so that you can understand it. Here, you are never gonna go through there, okay? So please, don't think that you can get in there. That is so small, it's like a pinprick. Only a pin will fit in there, right? So please, don't come with this, well, we'll get in there. Not gonna happen, okay? It's gonna move out of the way. So that there, of course, is the vagina. Okay, and if I look down here, nice and simple. What is the answer today? It is the vagina. Easy, simple. Okay, these are simple things. A lot of you guys know this, right? Kids know these things. It's very nice to know, and you can have so much fun with this section. Next one. What part will the zygote be formed? What part with the zygote? What part with the zygote will be formed? It's very, very simple. Up here, where is it formed? Okay, simple thing. Where will it form? I want you to think of it carefully. Got it? Okay, it's in the fallopian tubes. Okay, that is exactly. And if it's in the fallopian tubes, what letter would it be? It will be A. Okay, remember that is where fertilization takes place. So you get an egg, you get a sperm, it comes together, and now we've got a zygote, right? And where is it formed? In the fallopian tubes. Very simple, very easy. Okay, so they keep playing with you all the time. They keep saying to you, it's, if you have a look at it, this is happening. And then they ask you the same question, but in a different way, but it's the same answer. I could have said, where does fertilization take place? Or where does a zygote happen? Okay, where is a zygote formed? Simple, same question, same answer. Right, now, if we have a look at the next one. What part of the Graafian follicle develops? The part where the Graafian follicle develops. Graafian follicle. Well, if I have a look at it, a Graafian follicle, if I had to look straight in here, nothing on this picture tells me about a Graafian follicle. So you need to know in detail, in here, exactly where we're going to find a Graafian follicle. It's very simple. That a Graafian follicle is actually where an egg is being made inside, right? Because you get a Graafian follicle, and inside the Graafian follicle, you're going to get the egg, right? So where is it being made? Of course, it's in this part over here, which is called your ovary. Okay, so labeled ovary, B it is. Now we've got the answer. B is where your Graafian follicle takes place. Nice and easy, very simple. Okay, ovaries there. We've discussed everything on that picture. If you know that, that's just the superficial version. That's the outside part. It's not the in-depth part. We're going to start going in depth. So if we have a look at the next question. Okay, first of all, very, very, very important. We need to look at hormones, because without hormones, we're not going anywhere. Right, so they always give you this picture. Okay, it's a very, very nice picture. Now, if we have a look at it, okay, they have labeled it, so make sure you look. Okay, they've got estrogen, which is, oh, wrong color. If we get back there, they've got estrogen. There it is. Okay, now if you watch, estrogen is the yellow line, so it goes down and it goes up. Can you see? That's where it's going. Okay, it goes all the way up. Now, I went from back to front, okay? Now, if you have a look, in the beginning, it's nice and low. Then you'll see the progesterone level stays there, but the estrogen level rises. Certain things happen during that stage. Then watch, the estrogen level starts dropping after a while, and the progesterone level starts increasing. Different parts, different times. Very, very important, okay? This is very important. Let's have a look how they'll ask you questions on this. Okay, firstly, when are the levels of estrogen and progesterone the same? When are they the same? Oh, come on, it's graphs. Okay, where are they going to meet? Where are they going to, like, dissect or bisect or whatever we call it? Where are they going to join together? Of course, there it is. Okay, there it is. It's on this line over here. Okay, which means it's on what day? If I look at it down there, it is the 17th day. Okay, this is how much is found on the side here, and this is what day. Okay, they ask you what day. It's on the 17th day. It's between the 16th and 18th, as you can see. And of course, nice and easy, that is 2 marks for nothing. Okay, nice and easy. Next one. Let's bring it down here. Next one. How much estrogen is in the blood on day 14? Okay, that's a very important day, day 14. Very important day, and I'll explain to you why. In this whole system, okay, we don't ever just say, well, this is how it is. Okay, we generalize in life science. We have to generalize because people are different. Okay, when we have a look at the menstrual cycle, they normally say it's about a 28-day cycle. okay? 28-day cycle from start to finish, okay? But some people have more. Some day have a 32-day, okay? So you generalize, you use the one that's the most popular one. And the most popular is a 28-day cycle, okay? Now, the 14th day is very important because the 14th day is where you get this thing called ovulation, okay? And that's when the egg is released to become fertilized, okay? Now, that happens on the 14th day. Now, if I have a look at the 14th day, I'm going to try and get a bit of a thing here. Look here, let's see, 14th day, and we're going, oh, that's not right, let's move it there, 14th day, and it's about there, okay? A little bit higher. 14th day, we have a look, and it's about 32.5 or 32, 30, round about there. That's what it is. Now, that's what the graph says. Okay, now you cannot get it wrong. They're not going to say, okay, it's the exact amount. They're not going to say, okay, well, you need to tell me exactly 32.5 or 30 or whatever. They're not going to do that. And if I have a look at it, the answer is 32.5. Okay, do not forget what we measure it in. 32.5 is not good enough. Okay, have a look here. What is the unit? Oh, what is the unit here? You need to put that unit in. Without that unit, it could be chappies, it could be anything, right? It could be even me, 32.5 Llewellyn. Can you imagine that? Not going to work. Okay, so make sure that you put the units in, right? Got to put those units in. Very, very important. Now, next one. Okay, what evidence from the graph, very simple, because this is graph work. They're going to give you a graph. Make sure you know it, especially this graph. They always give it to you, as I said, right? So what evidence from the graph shows that the ovum was fertilized? Oh, hell. That's not going to happen. Have a look at this. Where do you see an egg? Can you see an egg there? I can't see an egg there. So how am I going to know if it's fertilized? I couldn't see sperm. I couldn't see anything. How am I going to know that it's fertilized? Okay, very, very simple. We have a look at hormones. Hormones tell us everything. Now, we need to know which one does what. Okay, estrogen does a certain thing. Progesterone does a certain thing. Now, the progesterone stops the endometrium wall from collapsing or falling in. So if the progesterone levels drop, okay, then the walls are going to fall in and we're going to have menstruation. So let's go have a look at the progesterone levels. Here it is. Look at the progesterone levels, okay? This level hasn't dropped. There's the 28th day. Remember, we're doing generalization. Can you see it? Does the progesterone levels drop? If this thing happened, okay, if it wasn't fertilized, this system over here, I just want to change pens here for a second, but this here would start dropping, okay? And then menstruation would happen. But here it stays nice and high. So what does that mean? Okay? That means fertilization took place, and that means that the lady is pregnant. Okay? So that's what we're having. We're testing, when you go for pregnancy test, they're looking at the progesterone levels. They're having a look at how high it is to see if we can get it from there. Right. Now, let's have a look. Okay. Come on, there we go. Okay, it says there the level of progesterone remains at a high end. Okay, very important. You can tell everything by hormones in the body. Hormones are very, very important. Okay, now, I definitely need a break, so I'm sure you do, right? So have a good stretch, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes straight after this break. Hello, hope you had a nice stretch, right? And we're getting straight back into this because we need to get it done, right? Exams are around the corner, so you've got to concentrate. Now, not everything is about human reproduction, okay? Please don't forget, we've also got plants that we've got to look at, and we've got other animals, right? For example, vertebrates, okay? All the vertebrates, there's lots of different. There's fish, there's reptiles, AVs, birds, all of that's there, right? You've got to know all of them. So what they're going to do is they're going to throw in a thing that's got to do with other animals, not just human reproduction, which is exactly what we've done on the next question, okay? Let's have a look. what they've done here is they've given you a picture. And it says, study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. Now, if you have a look at that, the only thing that shows me that it's got to do with reproduction is this part over here that says embryo. Okay? And if that's an embryo, the embryo and here, shell. It's an egg. Has to be an egg. It can't be anything else, right? So we've got an egg. Okay? Now, we need to identify this egg, and you need to know the different parts of the egg. You need to know where the shell is, right? You need to know where the chorion is and the amnion, right? And the fetus and the yolk and what they're all used for, and albumin, what it's used for. Very important, eh? Very, very important. I mean, this is the same as being in humans. The only difference is they've got a shell around, okay? And they don't get the nutrients from their mom, okay? So let's have a look at the first question. It says, identify the membranes, okay? So now we know it's a membrane. Number 1, 2, and 4. Let's have a look. 1, there it is, okay? If this white thing here that I'm coloring in now, if this white thing is the embryo, okay, what covers the embryo? Okay, the amnion. Okay, remember there's fluid in that on the inside. So 1, I reckon, is the amnion. Okay, if we have a look at 2, okay, that is the part that goes right round. It's even with us. Okay, we've also got it. That bag that goes around us. Okay, the chorion. The chorion is very important. It helps for gaseous exchange in this case, right? It gets rid of oxygen and takes in carbon dioxide. The shell can allow gaseous exchange to happen. Otherwise, how's this thing going to breathe? Okay, so that helps with the gaseous exchange. And then the last one, it was number 4. There it is. Okay, number 4, this black part here, okay, that black part there is air. It's called an air sac. Number 4 is called the air sac. Okay, the air sac is very important. It helps protect the embryo on the inside as well. Okay, so let's see if I'm right. So what did I say? I said amnion, chorion, and air sac. Okay, they're the 3. Let's have a look. First one was amnion, which is right. We've got the chorion, and we've got the air sac. Okay, all of those are very important. Okay, the air sac is there for a reason. So is the chorion, and so is the amnion. Excuse me, the amnion is inside there to protect the baby, okay, for all bumps and bruises and all of that. Okay, next one. Provide the function for the fluid within part 1. Oh, I've just given you the answer. Okay, what it does is it keeps the baby moist, keeps it protected and all of that. Okay, so of course 1 is inside the amnion. So it's the amniotic fluid. Okay, protects, here it is, very simple, protects the embryo during the developmental stages. Okay, it has to be there. You'll notice, I've known of people that the amniotic fluid is very low and the baby can get hurt. Okay, so that amniotic fluid is very, very, very important. Next one. Provide the number that represents the Allantois canal. Okay, the Allantois canal. Yes, it's a big word. I know you're going to struggle because I do. Okay, but that there is very important. Okay, it's a big name and it's not that difficult actually. Okay, here it is, number 3. Now that there is very important because that there collects the waste products. Okay, it's there for the waste products. If it wasn't there, where's the waste products going to go? Okay, so that catches all the urine and all of that in that specific sac. Okay, so very important. It also helps with the carbon dioxide and that. It helps the chorion with the diffusion of gases. Okay, now that's what it is. I did say number 3, and number 3, okay, it gets rid of waste products, as I was saying. Now the next question, what is the function? Oh, I've already given you the function. Okay, gets rid of waste products. It stores it so that it doesn't infect the baby. Okay, it will affect, it will destroy the child or kill the child or whatever, the chick, whatever it is. Okay, it will harm it if we don't get rid of that waste product. Okay, so as I said, it is there to for waste dispersal of the embryo. It's all the excretion that goes there. Okay, nice and simple and easy. Okay, now, explain the difference. Here's a nice one. Explain the difference between viviparous and oviparous embryo development. Ooh, this is a big one. Okay, now that's not the only ones you get. You've also got this funny big one. Okay, so you get your viviparous, you get your oviparous, and then you get a combination of both. Oviparous. Ooh, that's a big one. Okay, let's have a look at it. The only way I remember it, okay, ovivi is a much bigger word than viviparous and oviparous. Okay, I always look for oviparous first. So I always look for this one first. Here it is, with the O. The main reason is, if I have a look here, what shape is O? Okay, it's an O. It looks like an egg. Okay, that's exactly what it is. Oviparous is egg laying. Okay, viviparous is live birth. Live birth. Okay, oviparous, an egg. Okay, so let's get this right. Viviparous gets all its nutrients and everything from its mom. Okay, through the placenta and the umbilical cord and all of that type of thing. That's viviparous. Oviparous is inside an egg. It gets all its nutrients from this yolks. Can you remember the yolk that I was talking about? It gets all its nutrients from the yolk. And then the oviviparous, okay, is, for example, a shark. Okay, that is where the mother gives gives birth to live young. But inside, when it was developing, it was inside an egg. It didn't get its nutrients from its mom. It got it from the yolk. But even though it gives birth to live young, as it is a shark. Okay, so let's see this answer quickly. Very simple. If I can get it open. There we go. Here we go. Viviparous. Okay, the embryo develops inside the uterus. Okay, remember that's inside. It's getting all its nutrients from its mom. The placenta nourishes the embryo. Same as I told you. Nice and easy. Then you've got the female gives birth to live, very important, young. Okay, very important, gives birth to live young. When the gestation period, the gestation period is over, when it's finished, in other words, when she gives birth. Okay, oviparous, remember, O for this egg, the shape of an egg, nice and easy. Okay, the egg has a shell and is laid outside, very important, outside the female's body into the nest. Okay, and then it's incubated. They sit on it, they keep it warm, right? And at the end, it breaks out of the shell. It hatches. Okay, there it is. It hatches out of the egg. Okay, when it's time to be time for its gestation period, the end of the gestation period. Right. So that's it. It's not too difficult. That's quite nice and easy. And then this is something that I do like. Okay, the next question is quite a cool one. Briefly explain the meaning of the terms. Remember, they like the terms. First one, procoleal. What's it? It's prococele, right? And the last one is altrical. Okay, now those are huge words. What are they? My word. Okay, it's very simple. Very, very simple. And you'll understand where I'm coming from. Okay, you get two types. You have this where, if you have a look at some fish, just use fish, right? Parents lay the eggs, babies hatch, and they swim for dear life in a school. You've heard that before, right? That thing, in other words, when it gets, when it hatches from its egg or gives birth or whatever, this thing does not depend on the mom at all. It run, it's gone. Okay, protects itself, it eats itself, it can do everything itself. And the second one is we look after, like we are the one. Okay, we give birth, baby is helpless, we got to feed it, we got to clothe it, we got to protect it. Okay, those are the two. Okay, and the first one, if I can get to it, the first one is the exact one that I was telling you about, where they can literally run and jump and eat and everything. They're not reliant on the mom. So let's see here. The young are mature. And able to move directly after birth or hatching. Okay, they can move, they can run, they can jump, they can do whatever. Okay, now the next one, of course, is us. Okay, we are this one. We are, when we get born, we're helpless, right? We cannot protect ourselves. We cannot feed ourselves. Okay, we cannot defend ourselves. Okay, just think, if you give birth to a baby and you just leave it there, the baby's going to die. There's no doubt about it. Unless it gets help from somebody, it's going to die. But a fish gets out of that egg and off it goes with all its mates. It's happy, it'll feed itself, it'll do everything itself. Okay, that's the two different ones. That was quite a nice little question. That was not, or had nothing to do with humans. Okay, if we have a look at the next one. Now we're going back to humans again. Okay, they like looking at the female parts. Okay, they have to look at the female parts because the female parts are very important. Okay, here we go. They want you to look at the picture and study it again. What is this? Of course, it's the ovary. Nice and simple. It's the ovary again. Okay, identify the following. The follicle labeled A. Oh, A. There it is. It's looking for a follicle. Remember, I gave you that big word, huge word called Graafian follicle. Okay, it's a Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle is where we produce the, oh, come on. Graafian follicle, if I can just get there. There we go. The Graafian follicle is where we produce the ovum inside. Right, the ovule. Sorry, the ovule inside is where we produce it. Okay, if we have a look at the next one. Structure labeled C. Where's C? There it is. Structure labeled C. Now, do that. What is this? It goes from something small, it carries on going, gets big, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller again. Okay, now at certain parts it's got different names, right? This here is after ovulation is happening. In other words, it's burst. Okay, it's called the corpus luteum, and that corpus luteum is very important because it produces progesterone, and progesterone keeps the endometrium wall going, so that menstruation doesn't happen. Okay, so let's have a look. It is the corpus luteum. Okay, nice and easy, very simple. You guys can get the hang of this. It's not too difficult. Okay, the process shown at B. Okay, what happens at B? There it is. Okay, I might have written over that. Okay, that is where this big thing bursts. I'm not going to give you the name because most probably going to ask me just now, right? It bursts and it lets go of the ovum. And what's that called? It's called ovulation. It's releasing of the ovule. Okay, that's what it is. Ovulation, the releasing of the ovule. Okay, nice, easy, simple. These are all definitions. You notice we're giving definitions again. Okay, the next one. The hormone responsible for the formation of part A. Okay, so we're looking at A again. Which hormone forms it? Not which one it produces. Get it right. Read the question carefully. Okay, because it produces one hormone, but it is formed from a certain hormone. Okay, and to make this, they're asking here, the hormone works on here, so make the small little one. Okay, and if we have a look at it, that's called the Graafian follicle, the big one. So what type of hormone? Follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. Follicle stimulating hormone. Nice and easy. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. There's no worries. Okay, next one. The hormone responsible for the formation of part C. Oh, let's see. Part C. Where's C? What makes it? Okay, what changes the Graafian follicle into the corpus luteum? It's in the name. Luteum. It's in the name. It's called your luteinizing. Come on. It's called your luteinizing hormone, or LH. Okay, luteinizing hormone or LH. Very simple, very easy. Okay, now let's have a look. What type of cell division, okay, results in the formation of part D? Now, D's over here, they're looking at this piece here. Come on, how do we make gametes? It's through meiosis. It's not mitosis, it's meiosis. Okay, these are the simple things that we're looking for. It's meiosis, nice and easy. Okay, state whether fertilization took place during this cycle. In other words, Did fertilization take place? I don't know. Did you see the sperm? Did you see it joining in? No, it didn't tell you. But there is a key thing. If I have a look at this, what does the corpus luteum do? It produces progesterone. And the bigger it is, the more progesterone. The smaller it is, the less progesterone. And if progesterone levels decrease, what happens? You menstruate. So look at small the corpus luteum is here. Was this egg fertilized? No. It's nice and big. It's gone very small. So the progesterone levels have dropped. So menstruation has happened. So did it happen? Did fertilization take place? No. Not a chance, because let's see, explain. Here we go. See, explain your answer to the question. Because the progesterone levels have dropped because the corpus luteum has become smaller. It's nice and easy, right? Let's get there. Okay, if we have a look, fertilization did not occur. Okay, fertilization did not occur. The corpus luteum would stay intact and it would not be destroyed. In other words, gotten smaller. Okay, nice and easy. Now, how about this one? Explain how and why the reproduction of FSH is inhibited. Inhibited when fertilization takes place. In other words, why do they stop LH? Come on. What does luteinizing hormone do? It makes a new, where is it? Why is FSH produced? Why is it inhibited? Why does it stop? What does FSH do? Follicle stimulating hormone. It stimulates a follicle to be made. In other words, it tells the ovary to make a Graafian follicle. Now, if you are pregnant, okay, do you want another follicle? Do you want a child today? Well, let's say you're pregnant, right? And you've got a baby in the stomach. 2 weeks later, do you want another baby in the stomach? So you get like 4 little children, and all of a sudden, when you give birth, you're going to give birth on the Monday, you'll give birth next week Thursday, and next month again. Okay, you don't want that. So the body's got to stop FSH from being produced. If you stop it, it cannot create a Graafian follicle. In other words, you cannot make another egg. Okay, that's the whole point of it. And let's have a look. Okay, highlight the points that we need. It says, if fertilizations occur, a high level of progesterone enters the blood. This high level of progesterone inhibits, in other words, stops the production of FSH. Lower level of FSH stops the development of an ovum. Okay? No ovulation can occur when an individual is pregnant. Nice and easy and simple. Right. Okay. I'm sure you can see the smoke coming out of my ears. Okay? I'm sure they're coming out of yours as well. I think we need a quick break, and I'll see you straight after this. Cheers. That's much better. Now I can get rid of all this smoke. It's gone. Right. Let's have a look at the next few questions. Okay. They want you to have a look. Have you noticed they're giving you diagrams again? Very simple. Now, this is a strange looking diagram. Okay. If we have a look at this thing here. Okay. Very strange. It's actually not that bad. Okay. Yeah. It is the circulatory system between the walls of the mother and the baby. Okay. So it's the umbilical cord and where it joins in. Okay. So now the question is, label structure A and D. There's D and there's A. Okay. A, very simple. That's what gives you your belly button over here. I don't know if you can see my belly button, but no, you can't see my belly button, but it's over there, right? That's what gives you the belly button. It's that umbilical cord, right? And then D is the part where this egg goes onto, or can't say an egg, this zygote goes onto that wall, that thing that always falls down after the 28th day. What is it? Okay, your endometrium. Okay, so there it is. The first one is A is your umbilical cord and D is your placenta. Okay, the placenta, here it is the endometrium is over here. Okay, and then this whole piece here. Okay, is the placenta, the whole part that you need. Okay, next one. Which of the blood systems, B, C, E, or F, carries the following? So now they're going to give you different scenarios, and they're going to ask you which one does which. Okay, first one, food to the fetus. Now we've got to look at arrows. Okay, which arrows do you see here? Okay, between E and F, which one carries food to the fetus? Remember, mom's giving food, so it's got to be either that one. Can you see it? That one there, that one, or that one. And of course, come on, read it again. Food to the fetus. It can only be one, and that is B. Where is it? There it is. Food to the fetus. Okay, it's coming in. Food coming from the mom into here, umbilical cord, and off it goes. And which is that? That is C. Okay, not C. Sorry, I'm going mad. That is, see why you must concentrate. That part there, it's B. Okay, B is the main important one. If we carry on, next one, blood from the mother. Blood from the mother. There we go. That is E. The blood from the mother. You've got to make sure that you concentrate. You see how quick it is to make a mistake. Okay, this part here, if you have a look, I'm going to try and draw a line. I'm actually going to use a different color. See if I can use a different color. Watch carefully. Okay, this here is part of the child. Can you see how I'm giving it this last strong white line, right? Everything this side is going to be on the fetus. Everything this side is of the mother. So the question was, if I have a look at it, the first one was food to the fetus. It has to be B because it's already in the fetus. That's got to go through the umbilical cord in the tunnel, right? The next one is the blood from the mother. Okay, the blood from the mother is going in that one. It is mom's blood. It's just giving it all its nutrients. So it is, let me pull it down, very simple, it is E. Nice and easy. Okay, make sure you concentrate. Even when things look easy, make sure you know what's going on, because it's like that when you make a mistake. Okay, next one. Where's my pen? The fetal capillaries are located inside a numerous finger-like villi. Explain why this is. Oh, come on. If I took my hand and put it there, okay, that's how much blood I can get at a time. Okay, if I had finger-like, that's how much blood I can get. Look at the difference. Okay, so the main reason why we have finger-like structures, to increase surface area. The bigger the surface area, the more you can get. Right, nice and easy. Okay, there it is. It increases the villi, increases the surface area, so we can get more blood going. Okay, nice and easy. Next one. Name and describe the role of two glands and other hormones in the preparing of D. So let's see. Preparation of D. What helps make D? Now, remember when we did those other questions, okay? Remember when we did those other questions? We kept talking about, or that question before the break, we had a look at the ovary, and inside the ovary we had that big thing called the Graafian follicle, and we had that thing that started going from big to small called the corpus luteum, okay? Now the Graafian follicle, that produces that hormone called estrogen, okay? And the corpus luteum produces the hormone called progesterone. Estrogen, what it does is estrogen sends blood to there, so we can start making the endometrium wall, and it starts putting it up there, and it's like runny, right? And then the progesterone starts making it thick so that it becomes like this jelly-like substance. So if you think about it, we've got the corpus luteum, which makes it jelly, and you've got the Graafian follicle, which produces estrogen, which gives the wall there. So let's have a look. Nice and simple. Okay, the Graafian follicle in the ovary, remember that first part before it bursts, right? And it produces the estrogen. Okay, then you've got the corpus luteum after it's burst. Now that corpus luteum produces progesterone. There it is. The corpus luteum produces progesterone, and it makes it nice and thick so that the embryo can just dig in there and stick there, right? So that it doesn't fall out and go out. Right, so that's it. Both hormones thicken the endometrium and make it glandular so that the whole thing can stick inside there. It's nice and simple and easy. Right, now, next question. This is our last question. So this is a very important question, so listen very carefully. Okay, describe the menstrual cycle and how it influenced by different hormones. Okay, now watch carefully. Okay, firstly, describe the menstrual cycle. So it's the whole cycle of when egg is made, given off, and taken out of the body if it hasn't been fertilized. Okay, and then it says how it gets influenced by different hormones. So now we're going to look at the hormones. Okay, so even before I uncover that, listen carefully. It's a little story. Okay, we've got the stuff called follicle stimulating hormone, which comes from the pituitary gland, right? Okay, so it comes from the pituitary gland. Okay, now what happens is that follicle stimulating hormone takes into the blood, goes all the way around the body, goes to the ovaries, and what happens? The ovary goes, hello, here is FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. We're going to stimulate a follicle to be made, and that is called your estrogen. Okay, now remember, I'm telling you the whole story, and I'll show you how we write it in a few seconds. So a follicle is made. Now we've got this tiny little Graafian follicle, and as it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, the bigger it gets, it starts producing estrogen. It gets bigger and bigger, and the bigger it gets, the more estrogen, and more and more and more. And then it gets to a certain point where it's just very big. Okay, and when it's very big and there's a lot of estrogen, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland picks us up again. Okay, and as it picks it up, it says, hold on, there's too much estrogen. That means that the egg is ready. I'm going to send this thing called luteinizing hormone, LH. And the luteinizing hormone goes down, gets to the ovary. As soon as the luteinizing hormone's there, this Graafian follicle bursts and releases the ovule. Okay? Now, this happens as it releases this Graafian follicle. Now that it doesn't have that egg in anymore, now it changes its name to be called the corpus luteum. Now, remember, the egg is going up and across down the fallopian tube, right? Okay, as it's moving along, this Graafian the corpus luteum starts producing progesterone, and that progesterone gets less as it goes. It gets less and less and less. But that progesterone, first of all, right in the beginning, it makes those walls nice and jelly-like and hard, so that it doesn't just fall in, right? And this implants itself. Yes. Now, this progesterone level, as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, okay, the walls start like fading down, and it's not very happy. It's not very strong. So what happens is, when it gets to its smallest level, right, and it dissipates the corpus luteum, no more progesterone, and what happens? The walls cave in, and now menstruation happens. Now remember, I've spoken to you about follicle stimulating hormone, estrogen, luteinizing hormone, progesterone. 4 hormones that are very important. You need to tell me how they influence everything. Right, let's have a look how you write this. Come on, there we go. Let's have a look. It's very simple. The menstrual cycle is a series of events. I just told you, hey? Series of events that occurs. So it's a series of events that occurs in the female's body to prepare them, right? They've got to be prepared for pregnancy. Every month. They don't know when it's going to happen. You do know when it's going to happen, but the body got to prepare itself. Okay? Here we go. It takes an average of 28 days. Remember, we always talk about averages. We always generalize in life science. Right, there we go. The pituitary gland secretes FSH, okay, follicle stimulating hormone, which stimulates the development of a primary follicle in the ovary, which is called your Graafian follicle. Okay, there we go. Next thing. The development of the follicle, the Graafian follicle, as I told you, secretes estrogen. And remember, it gets bigger. That's why you saw that graph go up like that. Right, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, the stimulation, that stimulates the thickening of the lining of the uterus. Okay, so it starts thickening that wall up. Right, very, very important. Then, around the 13th day, okay, the pituitary gland secretes this thing called the luteinizing hormone. Now, the reason why it's around about the 13th day, because that's when the Graafian follicles are biggest. Okay, and that's when we burst. Sends luteinizing hormone, and this thing bursts. The luteinizing hormone, as it here, okay, increases the body increases the luteinizing hormone, and what happens to the Graafian follicle? The Graafian follicle collapses, it bursts, and it releases the ovule, and that is called ovulation. Right now, the corpus luteum, which secretes, it becomes the corpus luteum. Once that Graafian follicle bursts and the egg is released, right? The ovum is released. That whole piece becomes it becomes the corpus luteum. And what does the corpus luteum produce? It produces progesterone. Very nice thing. Okay, now, which continues, the progesterone continues to make this lining nice and thick, right? Because we want this lining thick. So it makes it nice and thick, right? The high levels of progesterone inhibit the production of FSH because we don't want another baby, okay? This thing, it could still be fertilized, okay? If it's going up, if the progesterone levels is making this wall nice and thick, we don't want any more babies. We've already got one that's going to get fertilized. The body doesn't know whether it's going to get fertilized or not. It's just saying it will be fertilized. Simple. Okay? Until it comes to the day where it's not going to be. Okay? So it says it's going to do it. So that the ovaries no longer produce a new ovum. Exactly like I said. We want to stop another follicle being made. Okay? Then, if fertilization does not occur, so it does not occur, right? What's going to happen? The corpus luteum is going to decrease. Okay, the corpus luteum degrades or breaks down or gets, small and there's nothing left there. Okay, and if that breaks down, there's not that much progesterone level anymore, right? And stops, this whole thing, as I said, stops producing progesterone. Then, the pituitary gland is no longer inhibited. Okay, so what does it do? It produces FSH again. And if it produces FSH, what does the FSH do? It stimulates the Graafian follicle to be made. The Graafian follicle is made. What happens? We start building an endometrium wall again, okay? And so on and so on. That's how it goes on and on and on. Please remember, the minute that progesterone is not made anymore, that endometrium wall falls down and breaks and the woman bleeds. Okay, that is called menstruation. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Menstruation. Very important. Okay, will take place if there's not enough estrogen and progesterone to keep it going. Right. Hopefully you learned something. I always like talking to you guys, so it's good to see you again, and I'm sure I'll see you soon. Enjoy it. Cheers. Bye.